My name is Harold Bennett. I'm 76 years old, retired, and these days, I spend most mornings in my old wooden rocking chair, sipping coffee and watching the sky lighten. But 3 months ago, something changed. I was cleaning out the attic, looking for an old photo album, and instead, I found a cardboard box that hadn't been touched since the 1980s. Inside, were old war journals. Rusty paper clips, faded ink, scribbled Cyrillic. They were copies of Soviet medical field notes from World War II, back when doctors had no access to real medication. One line stopped me cold. I still remember it clearly. Beetroot juice was used in emergencies when hypertension struck frontline soldiers. That sentence stayed with me like a whisper. Imagine that, no fancy equipment, no pharmacy, just a nitrate-rich root pulled from the ground, used to calm the blood pressure of soldiers under fire. And here I was, nearly 80, struggling with blood pressure that crept up quietly over the years. Every checkup, same story, your numbers are okay, but trending up. So I folded that old page from the journal, put it in my pocket, and made a decision. I'd run an experiment. On myself. 7 days. 1 glass of fresh beetroot juice each morning. No pills. No expectations. Just curiosity, and a blood pressure monitor. I didn't expect much. But what followed, surprised even me. And in this video, I'll walk you through exactly what I found. Not just the numbers on the monitor, but the way I felt, lighter, clearer, calmer. So stay with me, because sometimes the most powerful natural remedies aren't new. They're just forgotten. I've lived with what doctors call borderline hypertension for years. Not high enough for medication, not low enough to ignore. Every 6 months, the same lines: cut back on salt. Stay active. More vegetables, Mr. Bennett. I tried. I did. But life has its plans. After Martha passed, things changed. I stopped cooking full meals. Ate more frozen dinners, less fresh food. Some mornings I'd skip breakfast altogether. Other nights, I'd just heat up whatever was easiest. And so my blood pressure started to rise. Quietly. Gradually. Nothing dramatic. But the numbers crept up, little by little, like a slow leak in an old tire. Then I came across that old Soviet note. In a worn, dusty medical journal. A military doctor with no drugs, no machines, just roots and ration time. His field report said, when soldiers experienced hypertension, we gave them beetroot juice to stabilize pressure before sending them back into combat. No pills. No technology. Just a root. That line stayed with me. If they could rely on beetroot to help men survive war, what excuse did I have? I sat for a while after reading that. Then I folded the page, slid it into my shirt pocket, and told myself, "You're going to try this." And something shifted. I stopped thinking about blood pressure as something only my doctor could fix. I started seeing it as a part of my daily rhythm, like brushing my teeth, sweeping the porch, or trimming the hedges. Something small. Something I could own. I didn't want a miracle. I wanted a habit. A simple, natural one. That's why I chose beetroot. Not because it's trendy, or sweet, or colorful. But it was used when there was nothing else left. And maybe, just maybe, healing doesn't begin with a pill. It begins with a quiet decision to care. So here's how it went. Day 1. I made the decision quietly. Drove to the local farmer's market and picked up 5 large, dusty beets. The woman at the stall looked at me with a half smile. I said, "Doctor's orders." "Sort of." She chuckled. I left it at that. Back home, I peeled each beet slowly, like handling something sacred. Added half a green apple, and a slice of fresh ginger, just enough to cut that earthy bite. Ran it all through the juicer. The color? Like old wine and war paint. The taste? Earthy, metallic, oddly honest. I drank 1 full glass of beetroot juice on an empty stomach. Then I waited and took my blood pressure. 147/91. No surprise. I wrote it down. A little disappointed, a little hopeful. And went on with my day. Day 2. Same ritual. Wash, cut, juice, drink. The number, 144/88. A tiny shift. Maybe nothing. Maybe something. Day 3. 139/85. Now I was curious. By day 4, something in me had shifted. I wasn't as tired climbing the front steps. Didn't need my usual nap around 10:30. There was a quiet ease in the way I moved, like my body was loosening. I hadn't changed anything else. Still had my toast and eggs. Still watched old westerns. Still went to bed at 9. But that 1 purple glass every morning felt like a small, steady promise. Day 6, I looked at the monitor. 132/83. I blinked, checked again. Same number. Day 7. 129/82. I sat with it for a while. Flipped back through the notebook, saw the slow, quiet drop. 7 days. 1 habit. No pills. No pressure. Just attention. But the best part wasn't the numbers. It was the feeling that maybe I wasn't drifting. That even in my 70s, I could shift the needle, just a little. Not with force, but with consistency. And in a world that often forgets us. That felt like something worth remembering. By day 7, I could feel the difference. Not just in the numbers. But in the way I breathed. In how I stood up. In how I walked. Lighter. Calmer. Like my body had a little more room inside. But here's the thing I didn't say earlier. I didn't discover beetroot juice on my own. Truth is, for years, I ignored my blood pressure. I thought it was just a number. Just part of aging. My dad had it. My uncle, too. I figured it was inevitable. And so I waited. Waited for it to go away. Waited for it to stop bothering me. Waited until the day it didn't. I remember it clearly. Climbing up my porch steps, carrying just 1 grocery bag. And suddenly feeling dizzy. Heavy. Short of breath. Like the air had thickened. That night, the monitor read, 163/96. I stared at it. Didn't even blink. That was the moment. The next morning, I called the clinic. And that's when I met Dr. Carter. He didn't lecture me. He just said this, "Harold, your arteries are tired. But they're not done yet." Then he told me something I'll never forget, nitric oxide. That's what your blood vessels are starving for. He explained how beetroot is rich in natural nitrates. And how those nitrates turn into nitric oxide inside the body. Not magic. Just chemistry. He showed me a study from 2015. People over 60 who drank 1 glass of beet juice a day lowered their systolic blood pressure by up to 10 points. I've just been a week. I asked him, why isn't everyone doing this? He smiled and said, because simple doesn't sell. That hit me hard. So I went home. Bought a juicer. And started. 1 glass. Each morning. Quietly. Not as a cure. But as a way to begin. And now, after 7 days. I don't just feel better. I feel like I took something back. Control. Dignity. Hope. And that, to me, is worth more than any pill. So what now? 7 days. 1 glass of beetroot juice each morning. No medication. No diet overhaul. Just one small change, done every day. And in 1 week, my blood pressure dropped from 147/91 to 129/82. Not a miracle. Not a cure. But a clear signal, something was working. I kept a little notebook. Every morning after I drank the juice, I'd sit down, breathe for a few minutes, and take a reading. I wrote down the date, the numbers, and how I felt. And by the end of the week, I could see the line, gently going down. Not dramatic. But steady. Like a soft tide, pulling pressure away. I didn't show the notebook to anyone. Didn't post it online. It was just for me. Proof that I could follow through. That this old man still had it in him. Now. I know 7 days is just the beginning. But it's a strong one. Strong enough that I've decided to keep going. 30 days. 1 glass, every morning. Same time. Same habit. If you'd like to try it too. I made a simple 7-day tracker. Just something to help you stay with it. You'll find the link below this video. And if you want to do this with others, we've got a small community group, people like us. Folks in their 60s, 70s, even 80s. Trying to stay curious, stay strong, and share what works. You don't have to do this alone. And you don't have to do everything at once. Just 1 glass. 1 habit. 1 decision, to show up for yourself. That's where real change begins. Now, before you rush out and buy a crate of beets, let me tell you what I wish someone had told me earlier. Because yes, beetroot juice can help. But only if you use it the right way. First, don't overdo it. I know it's tempting. You see your blood pressure drop, and you think, if 1 glass works, maybe 2 will work better. But more isn't always better. Too much beet juice can lead to low blood pressure, lightheadedness, or even nausea. Especially if you're already on medication. Second, be mindful if you're diabetic. Beets are high in natural sugar. A small glass is fine. But don't drink it like water. It's not meant to replace your meals. Third, don't use beet juice as a shortcut. This isn't magic. It's not a pill. It's not meant to erase years of bad habits. It's meant to support the good ones you're building. And last, if you're on blood pressure meds, talk to your doctor. I did. And I'm glad I did, because some meds and high nitrate foods don't always mix well. Be safe. Be smart. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. Choosing to take care of this one body, with a little more attention than before. So yes, beetroot juice helped me. But it wasn't the juice alone. It was the choice to be consistent. To stay curious. To try, without expecting miracles. And maybe, that's the part we forget sometimes. I didn't make this video because I have all the answers. I made it because I was tired. Because I ignored my health. Because I felt myself drifting, slowly, quietly, away from who I used to be. And then, something changed. Just one thing. 1 glass of beetroot juice every morning. That's it. But it brought something back. A small sense of control. A quiet voice inside says, you still have a say in how you feel. This wasn't a challenge. Not for me. It was an invitation. 7 days of listening. Not to doctors. Not to numbers. But to my own body. And my body whispered back, thank you. If you're wondering, will it work for me? I don't know. But I do know this, you'll never find out by only thinking about it. Start. Just start. 1 glass a day. For 7 days. No pressure. No rules. Just one quiet decision for your health. If you want to join, I've made a simple 7-day tracker. It's clean, free, and you'll find the link below the video. If you'd like a place to share your experience, our community group is open. No pressure to post. Just a quiet space for seniors who care. And if this story made you pause, smile, or reflect, leave a comment. Tell me where you're starting from. Or tell me who you're doing this for. Because your story matters. Because you matter. Because we're never too old to begin again. Same rocking chair. Same sunrise. Same glass of beet juice. Still here. Still learning. Still cheering you on.